Greetings, YouTube world, everybody out there.
How's it going?
Yeah, that was a rough intro, but we're gonna keep it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, tonight is an interesting night for the Hangover Podcast because we were going to talk about something in particular, but something has taken precedence.
No, we
over.
had topics to talk about.
Yeah,
we
but,
did. I had a long list of stuff I wanted to talk about today, but something came up.
Yeah. So, Dan, why don't you tell me in your best recollection possible what has happened tonight?
Okay, so tonight was basically take Kyle to work with you night. I had to go finish up. I do bathroom remodels and stuff, so I was doing one for one of our friends, and so we're on our way there, and we're just getting into our friend's house, our friend's town, and we're right outside of town. And it's slow down from like 55 to 35. So I'm slowing down. We're all talking. It was three of us in the car, us and our friend Jason. And I was talking to him. I was paying attention to the road. And, it's dark. It's foggy because we're out in the country. And from the passenger seat, I hear Jason, "Oh fuck, bam!" And we hit a deer.
Full on
deer. Blasted this fucking deer.
It was, and the thing is that I kind of spaced out for a minute. Like, I wasn't even on my phone. I was just kind of looking out the window.
In the back seat.
Yeah, I was in the back seat because Jason was in the front. And yeah, this Dan just completely just rocked this deer.
Grabbed it. I saw the last few seconds of it being in front of my car and just bam. And we all went, "Oh fuck!" It hit it, and then we're all like, "Ooh, that did some damage."
Yeah,
so,
it's because I think I don't know how it worked for you, but for me, like when things like this happen, I space out in the 3 seconds that it happens, while it's occurring, and I'm off somewhere else mentally. And then I
want to be
suddenly,
here right now.
It's kind of like whenever you're having like sleep paralysis or like anything else that like whenever like you jump back into your body and it jolts you awake.
You're like, "Oh fuck, we just hit a deer."
Yeah, so I don't know whether or not that's like how it is for everybody else, but oh my god, man, it was just, oh man.
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
No, I'm not bragging at all, but I have a nice car. It's not a piece of junk. It's a Volkswagen Jetta, and parts for that car, I only have liability on it. It's paid off. I'm not paying any extreme insurance. I can fix things. I'm good at fixing things, but that deer just cost me some money, man.
Well, I think that we should probably prerequisite here is that the car is still drivable.
Yeah,
it's not totaled by any means.
It did was it hit on the passenger side, which let's go back a little bit further. When I first got the car, Ashley, my wife, wrecked the car and the funny part was we had just got home from New York. So I drove that car for 3 days straight, about 2,000 miles in the driver's seat. Mm-hmm. Not a single problem. I get back in town the next morning. She wakes up. She takes my car to go to the store. I don't know what she was doing. Rear end's an SUV. Just totals the front end. I had to rebuild it because, like I said, liability. I'm not paying for that.
Right.
So, which I found the parts cheap and fixed it, and it's fine now. So, fast forward to tonight, it hit on the passenger side, which it bent the fender totally in, the passenger side front fender, exploded the headlight, which still works.
Thankfully,
yeah. We just drove back from there. It's nighttime. And
yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it looks really bad, and then it bent the hood. And
and one portion of it too was when we were driving over to Jason's place, the headlight was actually pointing at a complete 90-degree angle.
The glass had broke, or the plastic rather had broke in such a way to where way off in the distance, my headlights were shining in the top of the trees.
So if somebody was in the woods, they probably thought there was like a spotlight hitting them for about 2 seconds, and then it was gone. They were like, "Oh my god!" So
one headlight going straight, one was just like cockeyed to the right, all the way the rest of the way to his house.
Like I'm still kind of like, it's not even my car, and I'm in denial that it even happened. Like it was such a quick thing, which I mean that it always is.
Oh yeah,
because it's nobody ever prepares to hit a deer.
I've been on borrowed time because of that. because I have been in a work truck and in my car and in my wife's car, and nothing. I've been close. Yeah, I've been real close to hitting deer, but I like tonight. One thought that just flashed through my head was, "Oh, I won't hit it. You know, it'll run out of my way." But no, I was going too fast. I actually hit it. You know, and wasn't speeding or anything. Like I said, I was slowing down.
Yeah, you were slowing down to obey the speed limit.
Yeah, and then it just, Jason saw it before any of us, because I was kind of like almost looking over at him, talking to him. Oh fuck! Bam! And we as soon as we hit it, I'm like, oh fuck! I need to see if I'm dragging a bumper or something.
God. Well, because he even said that the deer flipped around and hit his door.
Like, he said it flipped. I mean, as soon as I hit it, I hit like the rear half of the deer, and it flipped and its head must have hit the passenger door and then bounced off, hit the ditch.
Yeah,
and it must have ran away. I mean,
I don't know how.
I don't know. I really, that had to have broken a bone. I mean, that had to have broken a hip or something. And then so we pull over, we assess the damage, and for those of you who don't live in Ohio, it's a really common thing to hit a deer.
It is.
I mean, I know other places like, out west, it's really, really uncommon to hit a deer. But there's in Ohio, in northeastern Ohio, there are deer fucking everywhere.
It's like a plague of just deer, and it's like I think that actually the only time that I've ever hit a deer in a car, it wasn't even my car. And I was
Whose
driving.
car was
it? It was a friend of mine who was teaching me how to drive. Now let's just to kind of give you the pre-story. I prerequisite a lot. Basically what ended up happening was that I was really scared to drive, and I needed to get over it because I was going for a job at that point that I had to learn how to drive for. So we get into it was actually his parents' car.
Oh my god!
Technically,
what am I gonna tell my mom?
Yeah, so dude, it was so this is how it went down. I think I either got dropped off at his place or he came and picked me up. And mind you, he already taught me how to do like maneuverability and all that stuff. So like the last thing was just to get comfortable driving. And I was like, okay, cool. So we decided that we were going to go to Fairlawn, which is about, like a 20-minute drive from here.
Yeah, 20 minutes from
and
here.
I was still kind of scared to go onto highways, so he was like, dude, we'll just take back roads. And this back road we were on, and it's just like what happened tonight, and
Mind
that's how
you,
it happens.
in Ohio, back roads are just like 50 miles long and woods on each side.
Yeah,
it's
right.
real thick.
There's like one street light in between each mile.
Yeah,
in between each like 25 miles, no street light, then another street light.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like, it's
that's
straight
how
out
it
of
is.
Straight out of a horror movie.
We're way out here.
Yeah, it's so I was driving, and he even said, he's like, I don't want you to listen to music yet. He's like, I want you to get to that point. He's like, I just want you to get comfortable driving.
Focus.
And first deer passed, and we went, oh no. And whenever there's one, there's always two. There's always a second one.
They never travel alone.
It's if there's never a second deer, whenever one shows up on the road, whenever you're driving, play the lottery. That is literally
exactly.
that is like, it's like that uncommon. So this deer jumps out of nowhere, as always, and we hit the right ass end of this deer, and it flew. We're talking like, it was like you took a quarter and flipped it, and it went off into the distance. His hands go straight to his face, and he went, oh! And I went, I am so sorry! I was so upset. And he threw the hazards on, and he was like, pull over!
Oh my god.
And pulled over. I couldn't even remember how to put it in park. He had to put it in park for me. Like, I was that fresh. He gets out of the car.
Shook.
I'm shaking, and I'm rocking back and forth in the driver's seat, and I was just like, oh my god, like, I'm never going to be able to hang out with him ever again. He gets out, and I wish that we had a camera on us right now for you to understand.
You were a bad influence.
Yeah. So, all because I was driving the vehicle. Literally, I think we were going to go to Guitar Center, which, by the way, was closed when we got there.
Oh my god.
It was such a terrible time. Anyway, I mean, this was...
You mean we didn't even need to come here?
Yeah. So he gets out, looks at the passenger seat, the passenger side where he got hit. He went from mortified to, huh? Like, it was that calm.
What?
and he looks at me and says, "Get out here." And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. He was like,
look
no,
at
no.
what you did.
He was like, "Get out here." We look at it. There is a quarter-size ding above the headlight. That is all that happened.
Oh my god!
And never again have I ever been that lucky when it comes to a collision of any kind. Like,
my car is fucked right now.
Oh god, it was dude, oh man, it just that deer hitting is such a awful thing. I was gonna say one other time I hit a deer. It wasn't in my car. It was in that's becoming a trait.
Yeah,
a trait now.
I mean, I'm not. This isn't made up. Before me and my wife got married, we dated for a long time, and it was me, her, and my brother. She was in the passenger seat, my brother was in the back seat, and we were in her Jeep Cherokee. And we were coming back from Fair Lawn, that the city is talking about. Back roads, windy. I was on the windy ones. Nothing is out there. No lights, nothing. I mean, if you have fog lights, turn them on. You'll see better.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to see another car. So I see the deer. And we all see the deer. So I'm rolling. I'm slowing down. 25, 15, 10 miles an hour. The deer's right on me. And it's right there. I'm like, okay, and it's stopped. I mean, it's dead stop looking at me. So I'm like, okay, I'll just going to veer around it.
Uh-huh.
It starts walking. 10 miles an hour. I shit you not. All I hit was the deer's head. That's it. So the head goes just full 360.
Oh.
Teeth hit the windshield of the Jeep.
Oh.
Teeth and spit hit the windshield of the Jeep.
Oh.
My brother's in the back going, "Oh my God, those are teeth!" And Ashley's screaming. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I look into the mirror, in the driver's side mirror, and I watch the thing with a spun around head fall on its side. So I literally snapped its neck. Its body did not even move. Fell over on its side. Man. And it was in a Jeep, and there was no damage at all. I mean, I think it just cracked the headlight, just cracked it.
Yeah,
and on those Jeeps, the headlights are way high up. So I think it was just a little crack, like maybe in the bumper or anything. She didn't even care. Because it wasn't anything. As long as the car moves, she's fine.
Right,
I mean,
yeah, right.
But, yeah, that was crazy. But, yeah, this one was hard.
And I know that, like, in a couple of days, it's not going to matter, like, as in, like, our anxiety of it. But it was just, like, dude, like, it's one of those things where, like, we both agreed. We were like, we got to talk about it.
Because
therapeutically, we have to, like, especially you need to talk about this.
Yeah, like, on the way, because I was heading back from our friend's house. Kyle was already at my house hanging out with my wife. I'm just kidding. No, he was here with Ashley. I pull in, we're like, okay, let's go, do some remodeling. Yeah. So on the way there, we're talking about the topics that we want to talk about. And then throughout the night, we keep noticing that we keep talking about the deer.
Yeah. It's like the deer is our apex. Like that's our anchor point right now.
I can't even remember what I wanted to talk about.
I know, like, the thing is that it's
I think it was No Man's Sky. I wanted to talk about. But...
what I do want to say is that we actually did get some confirmation I think it was last week when I was over here. We were actually playing Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And I will say this is that I was really impressed with it. I had a very hostile kind of thought process towards it, and I have to say that I'm actually really impressed with the game. And it turns out that they actually have removed the pay to get.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so and good for them because that's what should have happened. That's what they should have done in the first place. But I don't know. I didn't want to leave that like these two podcasts are separate things. This could technically be a continuation. It just happens that you hit a deer in between two of them.
Yeah, so I mean, this is mostly the Deer Podcast.
Yeah, right.
Today, but
I'm deciding it right now. It is called the Deer Podcast.
Yeah, it's
Hangover
no longer,
Podcast.
Yeah.
Open bracket. The Deer Podcast. Close bracket.
But yeah, we were playing it, and I was super impressed.
Yeah.
With what you can do online, and it's not it didn't get boring for us. We were playing it for hours.
Yeah,
our friend Brandon was here, and we were on his console, his save, and stuff like that. And it was awesome.
And then, and then we actually got to see story mode play out.
Yeah,
and that was
very, very good.
So, and that's the thing is that with the first Battlefront, they didn't have story mode; it was just online, and it's like seeing this. First off, graphics look fantastic. Just in online. The match that I remember specifically was on Camino, and it was, for those of you that are not Star Wars fans, it's basically a giant water planet that rains the entire time.
Yeah.
And the water looked fantastic. Physics were great. He even got the he has the one character that you're able to use the backpacks. It's one of the clone troopers, not stormtroopers. They are clone troopers now, thank God.
Yeah.
Because those are cooler. But so no, it was really cool to be able to finally get to see it firsthand and make my own judgment off of it, because I was never able to play it before, especially the first one. So yeah, but I just wanted to prerequisite it that we did find out from somebody that, that kind of nullifies the first podcast. But in a sense, though, we love finding out we're right or wrong about things and then talking about it. So
which was, he listened to the first our first podcast, and that's why he brought over his console with that save on it.
Yeah.
And one thing I loved about the online play is you'd get into a match, and depending on how good you did during that match, if you died, you could upgrade to another character and go back as a stronger character the second time,
right,
third time, fourth time, and you keep working your way up. And so you have a better shot, and you keep going to the same match. If it's still going on, you keep going to the same match.
Yeah.
And I really like that, because that is another reason it doesn't get boring. And that's one thing in the gaming world, doesn't it suck when you get this game, story mode's awesome, you go online and it just is boring?
Yeah, dude, so that happened to me with the first, I think it was Modern Warfare 2, because I didn't realize how late I was coming into playing the story. And it's I can't remember if you were a fan of Modern Warfare 2 or if you played through the story.
All I've ever played it on was online.
Okay, that was the game that had the no Russian level, where like you went into the airport and just started mowing people down.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and it was the game was banned in certain countries, and I think that some of them were like, look, you have to put an option to skip this level because it was that intense and it was that offensive towards it. But I
thought it was offensive.
In all reality, it is. But the thing is that it's like what intrigues me so much about the Modern Warfare series, and then also just Call of Duty in general, was there were two staple moments for me in Call of Duty. Was that the Modern Warfare 2 story? Basically, the whole reason that no Russian level happened was because you were an American undercover agent that was going into this Russian secret team that the leader actually, I can't remember if his name was Makarov, and I don't think he sounded Russian or whatever, but it's been a while since I played it. But the way they described him was that he was not loyal to any flag, he was only loyal to who had the most money. So basically you go in with this team and your boss tells you, like, look, he's your new best friend, you do everything that they say, we need intel on this team because they're dangerous. So you, quote unquote, I guess through a passage of time, earn their trust, and you mow down all these people in this airport, get to the end to where the Russian police show up, and before you get into the van to get away with them, he shoots you in the head.
Oh my
and
God.
You're laying in the airport, and he says that when the Russians see the body of this American, Russia will cry for war. That was the whole point, was that it was so Russia could declare war on America, and that was the plot of Modern Warfare 2. So it was like the whole Cold War thing. It was like this, like, what if it would? This is how it could possibly happen, and it's like that was great for story, but also it's terrifying because that is very plausible.
Oh yeah,
and it's like because the thing is that it was a secret ops mission, so nobody knows about it.
Yeah,
and no one's supposed to know about it. So like there's that aspect, and I think it was Black Ops 2. There was something similar that ended up happening, that America was framed for something that basically, so that way all the nations would basically come against them. And this old war vet is basically describing what the situation's like. He's like, think about it. He's like, after all the shit that America's done in the past 50 years, they've gotten away with it, and they were absolutely at fault. Now they're innocent, and no one believes them.
Wow.
And it's like, dude, like if people use that for storytelling with war games more often, that would be fantastic. It's like that's such a cool thing. Like, granted, like I'm not saying that I condone the idea of people being mowed down in an airport, but it's like for the story, it was crucial.
Oh yeah, I'm all about. I remember the days. Oh, these games are too violent. he shot all those people because of video games. He stole a car because of
And
video
that's
games.
such a crock of shit.
Yeah, and it is. And I totally am on the side of video games aren't, unless you're that fucking impressionable.
Yeah.
I mean, which nobody is. I mean, the guy who killed Lennon said that Catcher in the Rye told him to do it, but that was probably just an excuse. Sorry for anybody who disagrees with me, but that was probably just an excuse. He wanted to get famous.
Well, I mean, and on top of that too, it's like even like the whole like when I think it was The Dark Knight Rises, when the guy came into the theater and mowed a bunch of people down, and he said that he was the Joker. First off, the guy looked nothing like the Joker. He dyed his
He had orange hair.
Orange, yeah, right. He looked more like Pennywise. So it's
yeah,
like,
he had
but he
orange
didn't even look
hair.
like Pennywise. So it's like, so no, but it was just like. I don't know, like, it was,
and we're not making light of that situation.
No,
that was a horrible situation.
No, and it's more so it's to the point to where it's like people that are that impressionable, because even like I mean, obviously I don't agree with Kerry King's stance on God with him being in Slayer. I'm not saying Slayer's a satanic band. I'm whatever, but they obviously like they wrote a song God hates us all.
Yeah.
And
that's their album name.
Right, and what he said at one point was that he was in an interview and somebody asked him about when they, what is it like to know that your music promotes violence or that it will cause people to do stuff, and I'm sure he's gotten the question a lot, but he finally looked at this interviewer and he said, okay, he was like, we wrote a song called Necrophiliac. And he's like, someone looked at me and said, you want someone to go out and have sex with a dead body? And he was like, no, I didn't tell somebody to do it. I wrote a song about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like he's like
There's a difference.
He's like, I have the freedom to write about whatever I want to, whether you agree with it or not. I personally am not going to listen to Necrophiliac because it's not my thing. But at the same hand too,
and
it's
I'm in this Slayer. You for Christmas, right, to our left is the album Rain and Blood that Kyle got me for Christmas. Cause
Amazon's a really great place to find stuff. It was good. It was mint condition. It was still good. And it wasn't a cheap thing, by the way. Just because it's Amazon, you can find good things. But
no, I know that's not a cheap album. Because I collect vinyl. I'm a huge music nerd, and I remember the whole Tipper Gore thing when Judas Priest was they played one of their songs backwards, and it says "Do it," and they're like, "Oh, do it. That means kill yourself." And he's like, Rob Halford's like, no, that could mean do what? Mow the lawn, take a shower.
Yeah, it's
what?
And here's the thing: is that you can say that songs have subliminal messaging when you play it backwards, and this is the only time that I will believe that somebody has subliminally done something. Because do you understand what you would have to do to write a song for it to mean something backwards?
Oh, Led Zeppelin's been dealing with it for years.
Yeah, and the only band that I believe would do that is Tool.
Oh, fuck
because Maynard is that smart. And guess what? They haven't.
Well, there's that whole thing, lateralis.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Who knows?
We're going to get lit up in the comments for that one probably, but...
Shot multiple times in the face with comments. So,
that song, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it again.
I've always called it lateralis, but that's just
probably
me,
it. But there's videos on YouTube of there's this math equation called the Fibonacci sequence, and the numbers keep going on and on and on and on. There's no end to that equation, and it actually matches up. I think it was doctored a lot, but it matches up with that song and the beat of that song and the lyrics of that song.
Right.
So if he would be the motherfucker to do that. He would.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Schism is essentially about math equations, and it's a great song.
46 and 2.
Yeah, 46 and 2 is about evolution, and it's about Tool has a very good way of, taking kind of what somebody would possibly think are boring topics, but then making them awesome. And it's like, and I love that kinds of stuff. It's like, it's just like even one of the songs that a friend of mine showed me. It's a song that I play whenever I'm with my buddy Marco. Is a song called "Sweet Apple Acres," and it's actually from My Little Pony. I do not support that. I'm not a brony. I'm not
God!
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing either. I'm just saying that's where I heard it from, because I don't need anybody to jump on me about that. However, the song is about apples. But it's one of the best acoustic rock songs I have ever heard in my life. It is fantastic.
Have you ever heard? Oh my God,
it's great.
Have you ever heard like Foo Fighters acoustic stuff, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you're just really gonna keep the My Little Pony?
No.
Like,
from now on, whenever somebody clicks on the Drunk Gaming or Hangover Podcast, they're gonna go, he likes My Little Pony, and it's like, you know what? What if I do? Yeah. I don't, but what if would that change anything?
Drunk Gaming.
Probably a lot.
It's
but
it's the gaming show where. I'm a brony, and I'm not.
We're gonna have to change our branding on everything. But it was one of those, like, the point of all that is just that, you know, you have these songs that the topics are not, either you don't agree with them, or that, you know, you wouldn't even talk about them, or they're boring, and people are able to create music and do something amazing with it. And it's like, so it's like, yeah, you know what? If you want to listen to Necrophiliac, go for it. Listen to it. It's a song.
There's
That's all
music
it will ever
for
be.
everybody, though. Every time I get into Ashley's Beetle, I hear some kind of Luke Bryant or whatever, the bro country. Yeah, grab a beer. Yeah. It's so. Oh my God! It's cookie cutter. Just made for radio, just made for revenue, just sell.
And which, by the way, and I think that I stand alone in this with a lot of people. There's like 3 other people on the planet. It's kind of like whenever you ask somebody if they've seen Time Cop, because I remember I was watching Video Co-Pilot's Andrew Kramer was talking about it at one of his keynote speeches, and he would have slides up on the screen that would have to do with the next topic he was talking about in his speech. It was like an hour-long speech, and he showed Time Cop. And it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and basically what he said was that he was like, okay, Time Cop, who's seen this movie? And a second passed, and he was like, okay, so you're the 4 that have seen it. All right, cool. So he was like, no, somebody was like talking about songwriting and stuff, is that people absolutely shit on Nickelback so much.
Yeah.
And somebody made a video. If I find it, I'll leave the link to it because it's really interesting to what he has to say. Is that it was like the top 10 reasons you should respect Nickelback. It has, like, from the last time I checked, it has a crap load of dislikes. Like, it is
no,
like,
I mean,
it is just like,
I'm one of those guys that, like, I know, and I get it. I like Nickelback. I was there for their first album.
Yeah,
I bought their first album. Bought their second album. It was even better. And then the third one came out. Completely different direction. And I get being versatile and having a few slower songs.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, it was a complete 360. And that's, I think, where they lost a lot of their fan base. Because it was, okay, we're writing the music we want to. If you like it, good.
Mm-hmm.
To, we want to sell more records.
Right.
And that's what I felt. That's what a lot of people felt with Nickelback. But I like Nickelback.
Yeah, right.
I do.
And the thing is that whenever I tell somebody I'm a Nickelback fan, they immediately assume that that's all that I listen to.
Exactly.
And it's like your IQ
you're on
is
or you're
officially.
off.
Yeah, right. So, but no, the thing is that's the point that this guy made in his video was that he was like, think about this. When How You Remind Me came out, it was like it made more money than any song at that time, and it was not a rap or a pop song, it was a rock song.
Yeah.
And what he said was that he was like, dude, think about this. Chad Kroeger studied exactly what made a song famous on the radio, with everything that goes into it, with chord progressions, with the
that formula.
Yeah, with that
magic
formula. That formula, and he did it. He set out to write a song that would be a #1 hit, and it worked.
That's what I'm talking about the bro country.
Yeah, right.
If you've never heard that term before, that's what you call it, bro country. There's country music, which I love. You know, I love me some old Hank Williams that they always talk about in those songs, and they don't really reference anything by them, just put the name, you know, and you know, some Loretta Lynn and you know, Johnny Cash, and is kind of country, but every song you hear on the country station, that formula, every single one, and they have these buzzwords: truck, girl, beer, Friday night, Saturday night, date. You know, there's all these key words that they throw in there, and then just mix it up, edit it, pump it out.
And the thing is too is that it's like, you know, it's like, dude, like, if you want to write songs like that, that's fine. If you want to listen to music like that, that's fine. Okay. The only thing I'll ever disagree on is Justin Bieber, which I think is unanimous. So it's like,
I love me some Bieber. I don't like him. I think he's kind of a dickhead, but I do like Bieber. I do like Bieber.
So that's ultimately what separates me from you.
Right.
So no, but
I mean, no, I have huge. My shelves of vinyl to Kyle's right. The most of it's like reggae, hip hop. Then I got some black metal. I have a lot of old school rock, new rap. I have the broad spectrum. I got folk music, everything, and I have a broad spectrum. So I do like listening to After the Burial for my super hardcore stuff, and then if a Bieber song comes on, I'll listen to it. Whatever. I don't have a problem with it.
And the thing is, dude, is like I completely.
It's catchy, just like Taylor Swift.
I can't
it's catchy as fuck.
I still refuse to listen to any Taylor Swift to this day.
It's fucking catchy.
Because it's written to be that way, and that's the whole point.
Yeah. I think Flea. I think it was in an interview. They're like, you guys are so different.
Mm-hmm.
You guys sound is so different. Why is that? He's like, well, we call it Slurpee rock. You go into a gas station, there's a kid making Slurpees, and that's what I feel like the record business is. Just, here's your record. Here's your record.
Right.
Each one's the same. Different band, it's the exact same. And I took that to heart. They wanted to be different. So I like bands that are different. Along with a lot of our generation, a lot of the music we listen to is not on the radio. You got to go elsewhere for it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I do have some guilty pleasures when it comes to music. Shocker. But in the same hand too is that like I don't believe that there are guilty pleasures, and Corey Taylor really made me think that, and like really has helped me do that, because I remember him being on a radio show at one point, and he plugged his iPod into their auxiliary port and was playing whatever he wanted to the whole time he was there. And he played everything from like Motorhead to he played Rick Astley. And he was like, dude, everybody, I think it was Los Angeles they were in. He was like, dude, everybody in Los Angeles listening to heavy metal radio just lost their minds. And like he was like, he built it up. He was like, I'm not even gonna tell you what I'm playing next. He was like, I'm just gonna play something. And he took off the headphones and he looked at the guy and he was like, oh shit. And they played it. And he did it so much to the point to where the manager of the station asked him to leave. And he was like, he's like, I have been asked to leave. And he was like, you know what? He has been very patient with me. I will go. Like, he was like, but no, he played some Michael Jackson, which by the way, great. It's like, I love Michael Jackson, but for that radio station, it wasn't appropriate, I guess you could say. But somebody was like, dude, you have Michael Jackson on your radio, on your iPod? And he's like, dude, I have tons of stuff on my iPod that people wouldn't think that the lead singer of Slipknot listens to. And he was like, dude, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. He's like, whatever you dig what you dig.
Right.
He's like, love it. He's like, if you want to support something, love it. It's okay,
Yeah. And if you like bro country, go get yourself a big diesel and throw a girl in the passenger seat and open up a beer and go mud womping.
That's right. It's perfectly legal. We do not condone drunk driving, by the way. No. That's not what he's saying.
What their songs are about, I guess.
People will twist our words and say that.
Yeah, I'm not condoning drunk driving.
No.
But that's what they do. Every music video you see, there's a truck, there's a girl, there's beer, Bud Light. You hear that term all the time. They're basically drinking water, but I'm not condoning drunk driving at all.
No.
I'm just going off of what I see. And like I just said, we live in the country. Yeah. Like, I am all about, like, before I got my car, I had a 1985 Chevy truck with tires on it bigger than the car that I have right now, because that's normal around here.
Yeah, right.
That's how we were raised. And I get it. I get what they're doing. But that cookie cutter, that just Slurpee, here's your album.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's perfectly edited. The voices are perfect. And you'll really never hear me, other than this unlicensed trap music in the background that I listen to.
Which I think is it's really great podcast music.
I know, I love it.
It's a nice, and I didn't know how I felt about it until I listened to the first podcast for the first time, and I was like, dude, that fits perfect. I love it.
When I clean, when I cook, this is on. So this is really the only music I listen to that has like the perfectly edited whatever, and it's still kind of raw because other people are messing up songs and making it what they want to.
Right.
But I just can't stand that. Like, I just ordered the Breeders' new album. Since they haven't put out an album in like 15, 20 years. you should go get it. It's the Breeders' All Nerve, and you should go get it. It's a great album.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor at all. I just love love the Breeders because they are one of those bands that came out of the grunge era and didn't change at all.
Right.
To become mainstream.
Right. And and here's my question too is that, okay, so for instance, when a band that I was listening to, a band that I've been a big fan of, I showed somebody one of their new songs, and I was really, really impressed by the video for it and stuff. Obviously, being a filmmaker, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've got to talk about this. This is awesome. And what ended up happening was that they were listening to it, and they were just like, okay, but it sounds just like all the rest of their stuff. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, okay, like what do you expect? Like, I mean, like, do you want them to do something completely different and then lose respect from their fans? Like, I don't know, like, it's like, for instance, like Breaking Benjamin. Breaking Benjamin has stayed true to their craft and has a particular sound. Like, when you hear the beginning of a Breaking Benjamin song, you know it's them. And it's like, people that are like, okay, but it's like, it just sounds like the rest of their stuff. And I'm like, well, no shit, it does. It's their band, dude. Like, not to say that you shouldn't grow as an artist, but you're always going to have that kind of, that you're going to have that familiarity when someone's going to look at, they're going to listen to your songs and go, this is why I love them.
Yeah. I love me a band.
Yes.
I love me a band. I love me a band that as soon as the first chord of the song starts, I mean, even if it's a lyric in the beginning, it's that band. It's Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah.
It's AC/DC. It's it's them. I mean, they have an original sound that they, those are the bands that go places. And then also you go places by knowing the formula, getting it down to a science and, then you just treat it like a job, and you just go into work, do your job, and leave. You know how to not get in trouble. You know how to get your job, which I've had those jobs before. Just go in, stay under the radar, and and that's what I think they're doing, and a lot of people feel that a lot of those bands are doing.
Well, actually, just because I'm thinking about it right now, is that have you actually listened to the new single that Breaking Benjamin released?
I don't think so yet. There's a lot of music I need to catch up
right.
on.
The thing is that I've always had, a huge appreciation for them, and especially when they came back and they did Dark Before Dawn, which was their newest album that came out. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say.
I listened to that one.
Yeah, I actually got to go see them live. My awesome wife took me, paid for tickets to go see it because she knew it was one of my favorite bands, and Breaking Benjamin might even be my favorite band. I still can't tell. Like, it's like they're right up there with.
You know what? I always said that Deftones was my favorite band because it was since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
love them.
A lot of your music can change, but they've always stayed there.
Yeah,
kind of a deal. Yeah,
but like the other day, like I know exactly what you're. Talking about with you didn't realize. Sorry, I'm changing the music real quick. That was copyrighted music.
Something popped up, and it was just like, okay, that's not what we want. So for more reasons than just copyright.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
So yeah, I always said Deftones was my favorite band ever, and they are. I fucking love them because a lot of their stuff, and the lead singer has a new project out called Crosses, which is even better. It just blew me away. But even back in the day, they blew me away, album after album. And but I listened to a lot. My wife pointed this out. I listened to a lot of. You just learn them on guitar.
Oh, it's Parkway Drive.
Parkway Drive.
Yeah, Parkway Drive.
I own a lot of their shit, and I listen to them all the time.
And they're great.
All the time.
They're fantastic.
She's like, no, this is your favorite band. I'm like, I guess you're right. I never realized.
Well, because it's like
what my favorite band was.
Well, I would say if I had to break it up into a top 3 like tier as of right now, because I don't know if it's even safe to say if somebody does have a favorite band their entire lives. I think that there is because obviously I don't listen to the same music that I listened to when I was 10. So. But however,
Hoobastank isn't together anymore. So.
Yeah, right. Yes, and Hoobastank was great.
They were great.
If you don't think Hoobastank's great, screw you.
They just came
great.
in way too late, and they missed the whole jump on everything.
Yeah, but no, like I would say right now is that like my favorite bands are really diverse right now. Like, and because I mean, the two bands that have stayed in top tiers for me have been Slipknot and Stone Sour, and I guess you can call me a nerd because Corey Taylor's the lead singer of both of them, and I absolutely
You're a huge fan.
I am, and it's like I bought his book,
even his stand-up stuff. His
oh, it's fantastic!
Yeah,
like the hot bag story, everything. It's great. Like,
it's...
but the thing is that I kind of like those kind of go without saying. I think that's kind of like the bedrock that everything that sits on, or that that I would listen to. But ironically, actually, the band that I've really been getting into a lot now has been State Champs.
I've seen you listen to them a lot.
Yeah, they are super, super good, and this is actually something. This could be a topic we can talk about in this one if we want to, or if we want to separate it up to talk more in depth. Is that whenever I listen to a band, what I do is that first off, I listen to their singles to know what everybody's listening to, because my friend Craig actually taught me about this. Was that when I first started listening to Slipknot, I only listened to Before I Forget and Duality, and I thought I was a fan.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, dude. He was like, you need to listen to Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, in whole, and listen to all of it and understand, and really understand if you like them or not.
And bring a lunch.
Yeah, and bring a lunch, because you're going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
And I did. And it's like, and so with that being said, is that I listen to pretty much every band that the second that I hear their singles, I will then find a live video of them, listen to them to see how good their quality is, and then if I like that, then I will go to their album and listen to the entire thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for me, like, live performance is everything, and that's where 90% of their career is. Like, the studio is so minute compared to the rest of their career. It's important, and it's how they make majority of their money, but the thing is that as a band, you need to perform, and it's just like, it's even like one of the reasons why, like, now I'm a bigger fan of Hinder now, because their original lead singer was not good live.
No.
He was, and like, now mind you, great studio band. Lips of an Angel is one of my favorite songs by them. And
and like, he knew what he was doing in the studio.
Yeah, right. And like, like with like Get Stoned and Better Than Me, it's like, those are some of their big hits and stuff. And it's like, everybody from my middle school days knows songs like that. Like 3 Days Grace was huge.
Those are the songs. That's one of the bands that if we have a party in this house and everybody's here, music's playing, it's one of the bands that if it'll come on, we'll all instantly know. Anybody that went to middle school
and in
the mid 2000s,
would know that. Slow dance at a
and
dance.
You forget the name of the
that.
band, you forget everything. I know the song, I know every lyric too, because I played it over and over, heard it so many times.
Yeah,
but I don't know who it is.
Right, and to me, like, the point I was making was basically is that for me, live performances trump everything for me. Just because it's just like, dude, like, you have got to be able to basically put your money where your mouth is, and whenever you write stuff. And listening to State Champs live, I've never have gotten the chance to actually get to see them live. I want to, just because like that's kind of like, unfortunately, Warped Tour's not around anymore, but kind of like that, like Warped Tour kind of feel, like you have all the punk bands show up and you get to be rowdy with your bros. And
funny story, my dad went to the first one and he just went to the last one.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's like a chapter of his life ending. That's like when the last Harry Potter came out for me.
The first one was in 1993, maybe. When somebody will correct me, but he went to the first one when I was a kid, and with all his buddies and stuff, and all his buddies got together, went to the last one too. Mm-hmm. But what you were saying about performing live, totally get it. Offspring.
Yeah,
is one of those bands.
Dude, his voice is ridiculous.
Yeah, but
dude,
live. It's really straining on him to do that live.
It is, but I remember seeing a video. I think that they were on the Tonight Show, I want to say, or something. Like, I mean, they're big enough; they would be, even if I quoted it wrong. But I remember seeing they were playing, I think, Self Esteem.
Yeah.
And somebody said in the comments, they were like, "Dude, this guy can still belt it after 15 years of constant touring."
Oh, yeah.
It's like, 'cause like when you hear the Offspring, you know it's
that's
them.
not a natural singing.
No, it's not. And it's
like,
dude, it's ridiculous.
That's what I was getting
good.
at. That's a lot on him. That's a lot on your voice.
Yeah.
I mean, that is strain.
Especially Rise Against.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Have you listened to any of their live videos recently?
Oh, I've seen them live. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's I remember one song in particular. I think it was.
They're amazing live. They're fantastic.
Dude,
live.
I don't know what. Now this is not saying that people won't have bad nights, because obviously if you tour for that long, you're gonna get tired. And but they're like, I can't think of his.
And those guys are on the road all the time.
Yeah, and it's I can't remember what his name is. I feel like an idiot now. But anyway, they were playing a really big venue, and they were playing "Prayer for the Refugee."
Yeah,
and that, like, pretty much all he's done his entire life is shout.
Yeah.
You know, which, and then to me, like, that's one of the reasons why I love Rise Against, because, like, even, like, hearing, I think it was Savior, for the first time I heard them, that was one of the first songs I heard, and I was like, dude, this is, like, it's so good. And, like, and I listened to it, like, once again, like, got all their albums, listened to it, and for a while there, I thought that they weren't a good live band, but that's only because I caught bad videos of them.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, but from
people love to put those videos on too.
They do.
If a singer has a bad night.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, like, for me, it's like I know that even from the past of, like, whenever I have performed live and I have tried to sing, like, dude, it is one of the most difficult things to do is to be on point.
Yeah,
all the time, because you know it's like some mornings, like, you're like, no, what if I don't want to sing today?
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
like, what if I just want to have
a
beer and just sit down? Like,
yeah,
it's like,
and that's when drugs and stuff comes into it. You self-medicate yourself because you just don't have time to yourself.
Right.
And then that is also my Kanye West theory.
Oh god. Oh boy. All the Kanye West fans are gonna go nuts.
Sorry.
Right now.
No, they're gonna. I like Kanye West. And I don't think Kanye West is a bad guy. I think he does a lot of stuff just to... Like that jacket he was wearing. Have you read all the tabloids about the... It was a green army jacket, and Kanye West is a black man. Fact. He is a black man. He is a black male. African-American male, black male. He was wearing a Confederate flag on his jacket, on his sleeve.
Yeah.
Kanye only did that so I would read about it in the magazine.
Right, yeah.
That's how he is. He's funny like that. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. I love the guy.
Yeah.
But all used to, not really anymore, but people think he's a dickhead because all the videos on YouTube of him are him saying, fuck off, get the fuck out of here, fuck, you know, get away from my car. They're in his driveway at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning with a camera. Those are the videos you see, and he's pissed off, you know, and I would be pissed off too.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that it's like when you invade a celebrity space, like, dude, like there are some celebrities that welcome it, and they're
they're nice.
like, because I remember one of my
God
favorite,
love them. I mean, those
like,
kind of people,
dude. Like, even like two of my favorite people that I actually have revered a lot more. Like, I love their content, and then also as people, I love even more. Is the first one is Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah. Because I can't remember which stand-up it was. I want to say it was Aloha Fluffy, or it was one of his newer ones. He said, I can't remember what even led to it in a stand-up, but he was just like, by the way, he said, if you ever see me on the street, or if we meet up afterwards, or if I'm at a restaurant or something, he was like, and if you want to come to me and say hello, get an autograph, or take a picture, he said, by all means, do so. I welcome it, and I love all of you. Please do it.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And it's like, dude, like, and he's like, I'm not gonna change when I come out of here. Like, do not be gone from me.
Yeah, like me,
you know,
I'm just a naturally, and my whole family is. We're naturally very, very private people. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't go out. We don't. We're basically homebodies. We have our small group of friends, and
the neighbors are scared of him.
They love me because once they actually saw the lights come on in my house.
Yeah, right.
Every once in a while, they see me outside. They started trying to talk to me, and they learn I'm a really nice guy. Just I don't like to. I'm not one of those people that goes out all the time or and stuff like that. I'm kind of hard to get a hold of, even for my friends.
Word.
Kyle can, word.
That's honestly, like, and it's one of those things where it's like, even like starting Drunk Gaming and Hangover podcast and stuff like that. It's like, it's like we've kind of opened up that line of communication and stuff, because like, I'm pretty much the same way. Like, I'm a very boring dude. I really don't do much.
You're very private.
You're
a very, very private.
And I am, and it's it's one of those things where it's like, I used to not be that way. For a while, and it was just like, not necessarily that like it kind of like came back to bite me, but it was just one of those things where like one of my really good friends is a pastor, and he is, it's one of those things where, like, on Sunday mornings he gives his all, he talks and stuff, but when he's done, he's an introvert. He has to shut down for a little bit and recoup.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, dude, like, there are people like that, and it's, it's like, I know that there's times that it's like I love to be around people, but there's just some days where it's like I regret that I have plans. It's like, dude, it's like I like to be left alone. I like to, just sit in my room and play my guitar, or just come up with new stories or videos that nobody will ever see. It's like,
that's how I am. I'm there. I have a shitload of friends, but me and Kyle both, we have a small group that, we're family.
Yeah.
I mean, we are brothers and sisters. And we always hang out, we welcome each other. I'd rather just stay in. I'm not a big party animal. And, mind you, the small group of friends, that family I was just talking about, me and my wife always put on parties, and Kyle does too. We always host parties and stuff at our houses for all of our friends, and in the summertime, we have fires and stuff like that, and it's more often, and right now it's the dead of winter, and it's
you can't
dog shit outside.
Yeah, right. It's it's one of those things too where it's like I feel like there's a sense of like solitude that you can have even if there are a few people that you're with by yourself. You can still feel like you're by yourself because you kind of feel safe.
Oh yeah.
And it's
just another part of you there.
Yeah, like it's even like there was an instance that I was out with a friend of mine a couple years ago. We went to Walmart, and I've only known this friend as being outgoing and very extroverted and everything like that. Yeah. And we were waiting in Walmart for whatever reason, and he went over and talked to somebody to ask them a question, and they were kind of laughing and stuff. Eventually, I got in on it. We were laughing too, and we had a good old time and stuff. And we were heading back to his place. And he was like, yeah, dude, he was like, 6 years ago, I never would have done that. And I looked at him and I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, he's like, I didn't start opening up to people until very recently because he's like, I had anxiety about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and some people are like that. And it's,
I was like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been kind of not super socially awkward, but there's, I'm just not, like if I walk into like a club, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, right.
Like that's me. I don't know how to stand.
It's like trying to learn to kiss for the first time and letting your arms flail while you kiss her. It's
right,
like no, her hips are here. You're fine. Just like hold. It's like
my wife, on the other hand, she will go out with her friends for all fucking night. I mean, her and a bunch of her girls hop in the car, put on their Britney Spears. They'll go out. They're right at home. And I think that's more of a girl thing. But like me, I'm like, I'll be in the garage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's and it's one of those things too. Like especially like I have had periods of my life where I didn't talk to anybody. And I think that everybody goes through that. But
totally agree.
But the interesting thing was that I try to make sure that all of my time that I use is not wasted.
Yeah.
So to speak, because the thing is that I excluded a lot of people. I think it was almost when I kind of got out of high school and stuff because I was pursuing trying to make film my full-time job, and I was just like, dude, like this is all I want to do. And I remember one of my friends told me when I first started to get into film, it was actually Craig told me, we were watching this video that it was these two guys and they're in their backyard and they're like shooting at each other, but it looked real, and like they're throwing grenades, dirt charges are flying up, and it looks real and stuff. And I was like, dude, like why don't we do something like that?
That is amazing.
And he looked at me and he was like, dude, he's like, we could, but he's like, they're using After Effects and it's very, very hard. And I remember,
you're like, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I went home that night and I thought to myself, I was like, is it really that hard?
Right.
So I went through the steps. I got the program. I learned how to do it, and I'm a very tunnel vision person. Like whenever I learn how to do something, I'm like, I focus on it and it's like, okay, I'm not stopping until I figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And dude, like it was one of those things where it's like that time was not wasted.
No.
And that's I think that if you are excluding people for no other reason except for to exclude people just to be like, oh, I'm selfish and I love my time. Granted, I think you need to have those, but it's like I was pushing towards something. And
yeah,
it's
I
like,
see
and
what
that
you're
helped.
talking about.
But it helped, and it's like, guess what? I do. It's like that is my job now.
Yeah.
You know, and I love it. You know, so
Yeah, and
it's great.
And you're really good at it.
Well, thank you. But so I mean, well,
I could never do that.
Well,
I mean,
one of the best things I've ever heard was that filmmakers always say about their films is that films are never finished; they escape. and it's dude, like, and it's like I remember watching a thing about Steven Spielberg, and he's still complaining about certain things about Jurassic Park, and like, I mean, not like complaining as in like making it a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but like some things didn't turn out specifically the way that he wanted it to. Like he would have done some things differently. Like, man, like I really wish we would have done the shot more of like at this angle because the dinosaurs would have looked better. But it's like, dude, nobody notices. Like it's like this, like Jurassic Park, and everybody still looks around better.
Like, no, we're not gonna go spend $3 million to go.
Yeah, right. For 2 seconds of your ego, like, yeah.
Oh, it's not perfect. Well, yeah, it's sold. So
yeah, right. Yeah. So no, but no, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, I think that if you are shooting towards something and do something in the correct way, then it can be done. Now, it's not to say that I handled those exclusions properly, you know, and but in the same hand too, it's like, you know, if I learned how to do what I wanted to do, and it was one of the best decisions I could ever ask for, you know, or that I could ever see, you know, happen, you know, and it's
you got
so
lucky.
Cool.
You were lucky to get your job.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that the crux of everything tonight is we hit a deer. Sorry, Dan hit a deer.
I hit a deer.
I was in the car.
And now that, I mean, since I got that off my chest, you know, I just, all right, yeah, ready to go since then.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
as soon as I got that off my chest.
Man, so as far as like future of like drunk gaming and stuff, like what, like, so I know for a fact that we talked about like we want to do the Outlast Trinity and doing the 3 games and stuff. What we want to do is that you were talking about doing some like smaller games.
Yeah, just some weirder stuff. I mean, we were here with our friend Brandon the other night, and he had Goat Simulator on his Xbox, and it was amazing.
It was I live streamed it for a little bit, and so did Dan.
Yeah,
but it was just like, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I feel like we could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, and then there was an incident. We went to it was for your wife's birthday. We went up to for people that don't know, we went to Cleveland, Ohio. There's a bar that is basically a bar/arcade. It's, you know, if you buy a drink, all the arcade games are free. So I was at the bar, and there's this drunk guy next to me, and we're talking and stuff, and apparently he made all his money on Bitcoin. And that's that he led with that.
Yeah, right.
Like, instead of, hey, how's it going? How's your night going? No, it's, I made my money on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That was it. That's what he led with. And he, you know, I was telling, you know, I do this, and that, and which is really what I do. You can ask Kyle. I do a little bit of everything. But, yeah, I was like, yeah, and, you know, me and my friend started a YouTube channel, and, you know, we're kind of small right now. Well, what do you guys play? And I was like, well, right now we're playing Outlast. He's like, and before I could even say anything, he said, oh, that's old shit. I'm like, well, not really. People are still playing it, but I mean, we're. I mean, like I said, we're still small. We're just throwing some stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the thing is that drunk gaming is at the point right now where it's like we're not racking in hundreds of views an hour, and it's like, you know, like whenever we do move on to something
we're
that's
a
going
baby.
Yeah, right. It's like we are nestled in our mother's bosom right now, and it's like it's a nice place to be, you know. And it's so the thing is that I think that as we progress on, that it's like, you know, once we have like, you know, a couple of playlists of things that, you know, because like what I've been doing is I've been putting each video into the playlist that's our Outlast playlist.
Yeah.
That's going to be for each one, and then, you know, as things progress and we get more of a fan base and people start, you know, paying attention to what we're doing, that's when we can say, hey, we want to play something new, what's coming out? Because at that point, Outlast 3 might come out. There might be something newer that might come out. We might actually play through a story game. Like, I mean,
a lot of the guys on YouTube I watch, they're still playing LA Noire.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, that, and it's an amazing game, but yeah, that's old shit apparently.
Well, and the thing is too is that it's like, you know, like I think that like the game, yes, it is slightly outdated.
It's 2013.
But the thing is this is that you watch people that play Outlast, it is still just as terrifying as it is the day that you booted up the game.
Yeah.
It still is. Like, it's like, I actually tried to, I told him this the other day, I tried to play through it on insane mode just to see if I could do
pissed.
it. Dude, I made it 20 minutes into it, and it was bullshit, because, and usually, like, everybody, like, in the pie graph of reasons why you lose in a game, that small little sliver that says the other person was better than me.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is fucking bullshit. This was that pie graph, and I can prove it because I was turning on the generator in the basement where you were at with the guy with the bat, went up onto the landing to jump up to escape. Apparently, you cannot jump up onto that landing. You cannot. You cannot. Miles can parkour over walls, and he cannot.
Through windows.
I got stuck there, and the guy cornered me and killed me. And that was my insane run through Outlast. I was so mad. I was like, dude, this is like, because I knew I had a game plan through the rest of the game. I'm like, because I know it enough that I could get probably through like maybe a half hour or 40 minutes. And it's like, I didn't even make it to any hard parts yet. I was like, dude, this is ridiculous.
But yeah, I tried to talk to the guy. He was really drunk. You guys need to play new shit. Well, yeah, basically, like I said, we're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks. And there's other huge gamers on YouTube that are doing the same thing that we're doing. And when they first started, years and years and years, almost a decade ago now, 2008, 2007 for most of them, a decade ago, they were consistent, just like us, putting out videos, consistently. No one noticed them for a year or two.
Yeah, right.
Until they put out one game that people were actually looking up at that time.
Yeah, and
I mean, Oxhorn. I watch a lot of Oxhorn. Not a sponsor, not even a friend. I just like him.
Yeah, right.
I
we
watch
do
all
just
his
like
stuff.
content, you know. So like,
I watch a lot of his stuff because I'm a huge Fallout fan. I play it on the off season. On my days off, I'm playing Fallout 4. I'm wearing a Fallout Vault Boy shirt as we speak. And that's all he does. That's his entire channel. All the Fallouts, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, all the DLCs, that's all he does.
Yeah.
Just bounces back and forth. And I love it. He has great content. He has a great fan base. And that is old shit, if you will, air quotes.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think content that you are, it's, in particular with Let's Plays and stuff, it's like, your content is important, but I think that, first off, Outlast is still relevant, even with a DLC and a second one, which the thing is that we do have the second one, we're not jumping to the next one in the series without Dan knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some people could argue that they're not connected, but in the same hand, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm curious to see what you think about it, but I can't talk to you about it until you play it. So it's like,
that's our rule.
So,
but by the way, the only fucking reason that people are still playing GTA 5 is online for the DLCs.
Yeah.
That is not relevant anymore. We're still waiting on GTA 6. Like, everybody's ready.
And actually,
I can't name a person that I know that hasn't beaten GTA 5 yet. Or
Except for me. Except for me.
Kyle showed up late.
Yeah, right.
But you're probably
I had a
damn
reason.
close.
I played through The Last of Us like 25 times and also beat the DLC like just as equal the amount because of achievements and also because I cried every time I played it. Call me a bitch. I don't care. Everybody that has played The Last of Us, when Sarah died, spoiler, you cried like a bitch. If you didn't, you do not have a soul. Like,
and, the only reason that people are still playing GTA 5, other than you, is because of the DLCs. That's all that they have now, and Rockstar knows that. That's why they keep pumping out these DLCs.
Right, and the thing
Doomsday Heist just came out. It's great, but people are already 1 month into it. Oh, I'm done. What else do you have, Rockstar? What else do you have?
Well, somebody actually made a video about GTA 6, and they were talking about the fact that they were like, dude, like Rockstar does not need to make another game. Like, I mean, and the idea of the money making aspect of it, because it's like, they spent 7 years making GTA 5 because even like the fastest, I think they said the fastest releases that we got was San Andreas.
Yeah.
And I think that they did, I think Liberty City Stories came out like right before that.
Yeah.
Or something, but it was like those were the fastest releases. San Andreas took them forever to make. They had such big names playing in this game, like everyone from Samuel L. Jackson to like almost like a couple. I'm gonna murder this, but it was just like they had so many people that were great in it, and because they could afford it. And now that we have GTA 5, it's like, dude, like, I would be completely content just playing, like, the normal game for the next 5 years. And I just got a hold of it, you know, and it's like, dude, like, and that's not even me.
It is a great game. It's really in depth. They did a good job. That's why it's still kind of relevant, but in another way, you know, what people are you know, people that I'm getting tongue tied, but people that are into newer material and they buy a game to beat it, and they'll do a few DLCs and then they're done.
Yeah, and
they want a new GTA.
Yeah, and it's just like one of the things that like it really made me upset was Infamous Second Son, because the game itself, like, first off, getting to use smoke powers was awesome, but they were like playing it out to be like, oh, like, you know, it's this game that you can play through, you know, and it has different outcomes and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you can be good or you can be evil, and that's really it. Like, there's not much else. Like, there's some online like expeditions that you can do where you're testing stuff, or like, wow, you're not testing, you're solving mysteries and things like that, but it was just like, it really kind of like, I just got my final trophy on it and got the platinum trophy, which is all of the trophies, last week, and it was one of those things where it was just like, dude, like, I could have gotten that within the first month, but I just didn't because I got bored, you know, and it was just like, you know, like, now story, the first time though, the first time I played through the story, fantastic. Like, Troy Baker as Delson, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, you know, and like getting to see all that stuff, it was great. And the graphics were literally made for a PS4, and like it had the whole sensor pad on the controller, like it implemented all those things. But I don't know. I think that it's one of those things where it's like, you know, we're gonna play games that are still relevant in the idea that they stick around, and you know, there will be a time that I'm sure that Outlast will become old news, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's not that big of a deal anymore. But until it stops scaring the shit out of me, I'm not gonna stop talking about it.
Well, I mean, the dude that said that to me, like, honestly, like, Ashley was standing right there, and she could agree with me that is the reason that I don't go out, and I've never been the one to go out because of those people. And I'm like, dude, like, how can you be this dense? Like, you really don't know what people are doing, right? Like,
right.
I mean, I don't know.
No. Well, regardless, I think this was a very good Hangover podcast. I'm loving it. As always, guys, tell us what you like, what you didn't like. Comment on what we said. And
comment, subscribe.
That's right. And let us know what you guys want us to talk about next time. And your idea might actually be featured in the next video. We will refer to you by screen name.
And
we will
I was thinking,
give you credit. So go ahead. No, what are you thinking?
I was thinking, not to interrupt you, but I was thinking to do something when we hit 1,000 subscribers. Little cliffhanger there.
What could we do?
I don't know. I want to do something.
Sit in a bathtub full of 1,000 plastic spoons?
We could do. I was thinking more like a giveaway. But
yeah, right.
I mean,
so
yeah. If I want to do something. We'll plan something. I wanted to this to be a little cliffhanger. When we reach 1,000 subscribers, either on Drunk Gaming or the Hangover Podcast. I mean, if you're watching Drunk Gaming, you probably are already here, but. Yeah, I want to do something. I want to, I don't know, give away an Xbox or something. I don't know.
Well, that would be great. So no, that would be cool. If we can do something at that time, if we have the ability to, I think we definitely should. That'd be great.
Yeah, or I mean, yeah, like you said, if you have a cool idea, comment. Absolutely. And we'll either talk about it or we'll do it, or you'll see it on Drunk Gaming.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, hey, until the next time, game responsibly.
Game responsibly.
Shabam!